When I was growing up in the 90s, I thought Spider Man was the coolest thing ever. And then first Spider Man movie came out with Tobey Maguire, and it blew my mind. And it was a popular movie. But I remember growing up and being a Spider Man fan or superhero fan or Star Wars fan was basically like spraying yourself with girl repellent. Like you were considered a nerd or a geek and not cool at all. And I was okay with that. I enjoyed growing up like that. Um, but oh, how the tables have turned. I went and saw Spider Man Brand New Day, and it was Thursday night, opening night, and there were definitely some men in there, but it was packed full of girls. And the more I watch this movie, the more I think they know what their market is now, and their market is Gen Z, Gen Alpha girls who are in love with Tom Holland. And yeah, so I went and saw it, and here's my review. Hi, everyone. If you're new to the channel, my name is Zach. I do honest reviews from my perspective. I always try to go in as blind as I can, not read any reviews. So I went and saw Spider-Man Brand New Day, and I went in totally blind. Had only yes, I did watch a trailer for it because I saw the trailer in the theater when I was watching something else. So that was the only time that I'd seen a trailer for it. I'm going to give like a total disclaimer, which might be a benefit for you as the viewer, or maybe not. Maybe this is the point where you want to jump out of here because I'm not going to give you the view that you're looking for. But I am not a Marvel MCU fan. I think the comics were great. You know, I've not read every Marvel comic, but I kept up with quite a few of them. And I liked the MCU when it was first coming out, all the way through the first Avengers movie. And then I started to kind of not watch them anymore and got tired of them. So this review is coming from somebody who is not a fan of these movies. And I have not, I think I've seen all the Spider-Man ones. I think I saw the Doctor Strange movie, but I just can't remember, honestly. They're all kind of blending together. But I don't keep up with it. I don't watch the TV shows. And so I went in without a lot of backstory knowledge. And so I would say my first critique of this film is that you really do need some of that. I mean, maybe not need, but I think to enjoy the full scope of this film, you need to have kept up with it and maybe go back and review some of that stuff. So it's kind of like a TV show. That's kind of one of my concerns and things that I don't love about the Marvel movies is they're kind of just like big long TV shows. I don't remember a lot of that stuff, but I could tell that the audience did. Like they would laugh at things that really weren't funny, but I guess maybe they were funny if you were really into it and knew all the context behind what the joke was. I also feel like a lot of the emotional stakes in this film, obviously with like Spider-Man and MJ's relationship. And I'm not going to like give out spoilers and things like that, but this is stuff, if you've been following along or if you read the comics or if you watch some of the other movies, you know that there's a relationship with Peter Parker and MJ. Wherever that relationship is depends on how much you've kept up with it. But that's almost the crux of this film is that emotional journey, their love story. And which, let me tell you, the girls in the audience loved that story. I mean, I was hearing gasps as things unfolded and things were said and stuff, and shock and like they really figured out who their audience was for this movie. And so I think if you've not been keeping up with that, those emotional moments aren't really going to sink in, and you're not going to feel you'll know that they're emotional moments because of the music playing. And if you know anything about like film language and how we've been trained as viewers to know when there's dramatic parts and scary parts and stuff, so you'll know it's an emotional part, but I don't think you'll feel the impact of it as much if you've not been keeping up with the movies. And that was me. I didn't feel the impact all that much. And they tried to explain some of it in the movie for people like me that couldn't remember what had happened. But it really wasn't enough. Like, I think this is something that you're going to enjoy a lot more if you've been following along and watching all of the shows and all the other movies and things like that. There was also a ton of like fanfare kind of stuff that, like basically for people who like just the characters or the MCU, and they're dropping in people from like TV shows and other movies and things like that, which the MCU has always kind of done that. It's like the film with the most cameos always. And I think people like that. They like all the little Easter eggs, right? Oh, this is from this movie, and this is actually alluding to something that happened 3 movies ago, or in this TV show, or this is going to be coming up later. And I think a lot of people are really into that. And so kudos, go for it. I really prefer films to just like stand on their own and be like, I can come in not knowing anything and like the story is kind of done. Like even if there's going to be a trilogy or something like that, each film, should still feel like a complete story. And not that this one doesn't have that movie story from beginning to end kind of thing. It does. But I feel like in the MCU, it's a lot of like, you just know you're going to be watching 10 more of these movies, and they know that. And so they're always planting little things so that you can go back and be like, oh, there was that thing that meant that, and people like that and enjoy that. And I'm not knocking that. I just don't prefer that as a moviegoer. So there was a lot of that in there. But the movie itself, I will say I went in with really low expectations. Honestly didn't really want to watch it, but I knew I needed to review it because it's going to be one of these hot summer movies that like people want to go and see, and they want to know, what it's like, if it's good or bad and all that. And so I'm going to give my opinion on how I felt about it. And I didn't think the movie was bad. I feel like out of previous Marvel movies I've watched, including Spider-Man specific ones, I thought this one was one of the better ones. It was pretty good. I feel like the actors did a great job. All these actors have been playing these characters like Peter Parker, MJ, the best friend, I think Ned, I think is his name. They've been playing these characters for a while now, and have kind of grown up playing these characters. So I did feel like in this film that they had nailed it. Like they knew what they were playing and they did it great. And I really enjoyed that. The acting was excellent. I wasn't super on board. I've never loved any actor that they've gotten for Spider-Man. I grew up with the cartoon Spider-Man in the 90s, and that was my Spider-Man. And so just none of them really personified that. And in the comics, he was always like, really like, or not always, but like the comics that I grew up reading like he was always like nimble and thin and all this, and like every movie they always like make him like muscly and all that stuff. So I've never loved any actor that they've really gotten to play Spider-Man, but I do think in this movie specifically, I really did like Tom Holland's portrayal of that character, of Peter Parker and of Spider-Man. I think he's really got it down pat now, and he knows what he's doing and he's confident in it, and might be the best portrayal of Spider-Man as a character on screen. I think this time around, I don't think it's my favorite Spider-Man movie, but yeah, the acting was really good. Tom Holland did really good as Spider-Man. The story was fine, and the twists were okay. You know, every movie has twists. I'm not giving anything away by saying that there's twists, because they're not like even big twists. It's just like, you know, the reveals, I should say, were okay and warranted, and I didn't, you know, they didn't feel unearned. Like it, you know, honestly, it was good. The writing was good, the directing was good, and one thing that did surprise me was that the cinematography was really good on this film. Maybe even great. That surprised me. And it's not the entire movie. I mean, it definitely seems like as the movie went on and we kind of just like got into like the last hour of the film, the cinematography got a little more generic and like, okay, we're just trying to finish this film and get all the shots we know we need, like we put in every action superhero movie. But like the first hour of the film, they took a lot of time with lighting and with framing and even with him swinging around the city. Like they had actually thought about it and decided like, hey, let's do this differently than we've done it in the past. And that was really cool. So I appreciated that, especially in a Marvel superhero flick. You know, I'm not going to see one of those movies for the cinematography, but it was really good. And I don't know if like something like the recent Batman maybe led them to go in that direction because they saw how much attention that film got because of the cinematography. So maybe they were like, hey, let's invest some more time in this, or maybe they're like, hey, audiences are ready for some more unique shots and things like that, and we can bring in a cinematographer. I don't even know who did it, but you know, like let's bring in a cinematographer who's going to, you know, give us, you know, cool, unique looks, which I think younger generations like Gen Z and Gen Alpha are appreciating cinematography more than my generation or older generations. Like, I think style and visuals and all that is like a lot more important to them. And so it's kind of neat to see big blockbuster films start to lean into that a little more and make sure that the aesthetics look okay. And it's not just like, all right, we put light on it. It looks kind of like a movie. We used anamorphic lenses and everything's in focus. Boom, we're done. Like they actually spent some time on it and made some really cool, unique, creative choices. So that was really cool. I think so I watched it last night and I'm filming this the following day. And I think my biggest problem with this Spider-Man film is the same problem that I have with just about every Marvel movie, is that it's just forgettable, like really forgettable. And they all are. And what it reminded me of was like when you wake up in the middle of the night with like a crazy dream and you're trying to remember everything that happened in the dream, but then the longer you're awake, the more like the dream slips away and you're like kind of clawing in your brain to like hold on to these things to try to remember what happened in the dream. That's what it felt like with this, like, because I knew I was going to review it. So, like, last night, And today it's like my brain is trying to remember the film and having so much trouble remembering it. Like it just was forgettable, unfortunately. And, you know, I guess these films aren't really made to be memorable. They're made to like sell a bunch of tickets, make money, service the fans, which is important. And maybe they're designed to be forgettable. So when a new one comes out, you feel like you have to go back and watch the other ones to remember what happened. So I don't know. It's forgettable and predictable as well, which is okay. I mean, you kind of know that going into movies like this. The action, what little bit there was, it wasn't packed full of action. It was like a lot more drama and life contemplation sort of movie, which I'm okay with. But when there was action, it was just okay. You never really feel like there's high stakes. You're never really worried that anything's going to happen to him or to anyone really. Like, you've seen enough of these Marvel movies to know that it's not going to be like Game of Thrones where they just like kill off a main character or something. It's not really going to happen. I know there was some of that, I think, in Avengers, but like realistically, like there aren't any stakes that I'm actually going to care about. So yeah, overall the film's okay. Should you go see it now in the theaters? I think if you're a big Marvel fan, yeah, absolutely. Like it was one of the better ones that's come out in recent years and better than the TV shows. And that maybe is kind of meaningless coming from me, but I did, after I watched the film, talk to a friend of mine who's massively into the MCU. In fact, she loved it so much, so she works in the film industry and she's, worked on TV shows and things like that, but on the last Avengers movie, she got to work on that. So like she's in it, and even she admitted like the recent TV shows and movies have been really bad, but this one she thought was really good and she enjoyed it and she thinks people should watch it. So I would take her word for it more than mine on that, but I agree with what she's saying. I think if you're into Marvel, this is a great one and you're going to enjoy it. And there were funny parts in it. A lot of the jokes didn't land, I feel like, but people laughed in the theater. And it was a packed theater, which I don't feel like happens much anymore. Even when I went to see the Odyssey, there was not that many people there, but this was like packed theater. So contrary to what I keep thinking that people are tired of these superhero movies, they're apparently not because it was packed. Yeah, you're into Marvel, go see it. If you're not into Marvel, I don't think you're missing anything to just skip watching this, or wait till it comes on streaming and you've got nothing else to watch. You're out of TV shows and it pops up on, Disney Plus. Just watch it then, or don't. Again, there were some okay moments in it, some cool cinematography, but ultimately it's a forgettable movie and I won't be revisiting it. So that's just my 2 cents on Spider-Man Brand New Day. I enjoyed seeing it and getting to talk about it with you all. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to watch more reviews like this is what, I do. I make these, what I feel like are honest reviews where I'm not seeing what the popular opinion is before I go see a movie and then saying what my opinion is, when in reality it's already become like biased by everybody else. I'm just going off my gut and maybe you don't agree with my perspectives on films, but if you do and you like watching these videos, please subscribe. I'm trying to build a channel where I can keep making more movie review videos, and I can't do that without subscribers. So please subscribe. Please let me know in the comments if there's films you want me to watch and review, or if you had other thoughts about this Spider-Man movie. Please let me know. We can talk about it in the comments. And also, thank you for watching this video. It really means a lot. And I will see you on the next video.